that you cannot stay where you stay, always have road that you wow, it's fairly. I'm great. Oh, let me tell you, I had a rough few days. The 6 o'clock hour has come. We have a quorum in the building. Board Member Mitchell is in the hallway, moving this way slowly with her fan club. If I could get a copy of the agenda, I would appreciate it. Oh, there you go. Thank you. If the vice chairman could have one now. We're going to call the meeting to order and recognize Mr. Nastri. Right, right. I'm good so far.
Thank you, Dr. Bird. Good evening. So before we begin, we'd like to talk about a few housekeeping items and what we're going to be doing tonight. We're looking forward to an informative staff presentation. We'd like to be able to hear all comments from the public. So we ask the meeting participants refrain from any type of disruption, such as clapping, cheering, or yelling. If there is a disruption, the meeting will either be recessed until the room becomes orderly or the meeting will be adjourned. We hope that everyone will comply with this as an opportunity for Torrance community members and stakeholders to participate in the decision-making process. To those of you that have cell phones, we ask that you put your phones on silent or vibrate mode. Restrooms are located outside of the ballroom in the hotel lobby. And in case of an emergency where an evacuation may be necessary, please exit through the exit door nearest you. And if a shelter in place is necessary, such as an event as an earthquake, please drop, cover your head, hold on to your chair. And finally, to those who wish to speak, we will be collecting the blue request to speak cards. And I know we have examples of those that we'll be holding up. Please fill those out and make sure that we get those so that we can call your name. And also, the meeting is being webcast live on the South Coast SCAQMD website and recorded by Torrance City Cable. And that concludes my remarks, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you very much. We're going to try and do this as expeditiously as possible this evening. And we have a few elected officials here that we'd like to invite to come forward and make remarks. And then we will go through the action discussion items and take any action that's necessary. If you have trouble hearing my voice, just raise your hand, because I've had the flu for the last week or so. And today's my first day out. So it may start to go on me here in a minute. We'd like Mike, I'm sorry, we better start with the assembly. Would Andrew DeBlock, is Andrew still here? Was here? Did I get a resolution, Andrew? No resolution?
I just have brief comments. Unfortunately, no resolution tonight, sir. Thank you, as always, the opportunity to participate in the meetings, Chair and members. I bring greetings from Assemblymember Marsucci, who regrets that he can't join you tonight, but did want to make brief comments on his behalf. Just to say that he supports the staff recommendation this evening. He wrote a letter in support of the Sonoma project prior to his election. Is very excited to see staffs come down at the same conclusion and looks forward to the board's decision this evening. So thank you, as always, the opportunity.
It's really interesting. I got sick Friday, and I was at a luncheon with the speaker, and he was speaking very highly of the Assemblyman. Mike Griffiths, Councilman here in Torrance.
Hi, thank you. I appreciate you guys coming out today and doing this presentation and meeting on the subject. I wanted to thank you for all the effort that's gone into this so far, and look forward to continued efforts to keep our refinery as safe as possible. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Councilman. How about Milton Herring? No remarks, huh? I'm voting for you every week. You're my guy. Okay, Mr. Nastri?
Thank you, Dr. Burt. So tonight we're going to be presenting the proposals that were provided to us in response to the ExxonMobil Supplemental Environmental Program. We have a staff presentation that will review the presentations, scoring, and the rationale for that scoring and the selection recommendation. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Tracy Goss for the presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Nastri. Thank you, Dr. Burke, members of the board.
Before you get started,
Yes, sir.
can I ask the clerk, Nancy, do you have any speakers cards on any of these? Let me ask the audience, is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak on any of these items? Because, good.
Yeah,
Well, then you need to fill out the blue cards and get them in post haste. You have already?
We'll bring him to you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Didn't mean to interrupt, but I didn't have any blue cards. I didn't know if we were going to have testimony on these or not.
Thank you again, Dr. Burke. I'm going to give a brief presentation of the RFP process and the evaluation that led to the staff proposal today. Next slide, please. As many of us are aware, there was an explosion at the Torrance refinery back in 2015 and a refinery restart in May of 2016. As a result of that, settlement funds came to the district in the amount of $2.77 million, and the governing board established an SEP fund, Supplemental Environmental Project Fund, in June of 2016 to set those monies aside to be used in the community. Next slide. Unlike some of the other settlement agreements that come before us, this settlement agreement did not have a specific requirement for the use of the funds to be used to generate emission reductions. Rather, it was really targeted to benefit the residents of the district, and actually the funds are being focused on to be used within or to benefit the city of Torrance and the residents of Torrance. Next slide. The RFP process was actually quite lengthy and involved quite a bit of community participation. In August of last year, we had a community meeting to solicit ideas, had breakout session and roundtables, and we actually got a lot of really, really nice ideas. In September, we issued an RFP, followed by a bidders conference and an office hours where we brought staff in that had various expertise to provide assistance to anybody or answer any questions for those that might have been interested in issuing or submitting a proposal. And then we did an extended submittal date of 60 days, which ended in November. Next slide. Out of the community meeting that we had, a lot of the comments and a lot of the focus ended up being on air quality monitoring, emergency preparedness, public education, outreach, and community notification, as well as infrastructure improvements. Next slide. When we got the response, we got a total of 15 proposals, totaling over $15 million, and of course we only have $2.77 million. But the submittals generally fell into the following categories: monitoring and alert and public notification systems, modeling, emergency preparedness, and public education. Next slide. As a part of the evaluation process and in the RFP, we broke down how the proposals were going to be evaluated for a total of 100 points, where 70 points were needed for minimum consideration of funding. That included what the experience was or the expertise of the proposer or the project proponent, public health improvements, was there any measurable air quality benefits, such as emission reductions, but in particular, reduced risk exposure and emissions prevention. Also, effective use of funds, and then also secondary benefits. And then also another important component was support from the community and local government. Additional points could be awarded based on whether it was a local business or a small business, et cetera, for additional points of 15 points maximum. Next page. As a result of the proposals, we had several that were actually in monitoring modeling category, but then also we had some that were in education and emergency preparedness. Staff felt that it would be best to have two different review panels. The first panel for monitoring, modeling, and alert systems included an SCAQMD manager, a professor of clinical preventive medicine from USC, a branch chief from the California Air Resources Board, director from the Bay Area AQMD, and a physical scientist from US EPA. Each of these individuals are experts in the field of monitoring. They're experts in their agencies, and they've really comprised a really fantastic panel to evaluate these highly technical proposals. The education and emergency preparedness, we had 3 panel members, one of an SCAQMD manager that is more than aware of the concerns and the desires of the community, a senior branch science advisor from the Department of Public Health who is involved with public education programs, and an SCAQMD air quality specialist who has evaluated such proposals before. Next slide. So here is just a summary breakdown of the scoring of the proposals. This slide is of the proposals that received the minimum technical score. The technical scores were generated based on the criteria that I just mentioned to you, and if they exceeded the 70 points, then we looked at the additional points, and here's the ranking that you have before you. With the City of Torrance, overall score ranked 1, Sonoma Technologies 2, Providence Little Company of Mary Foundation, the hospital medical center next door, is ranked number 3. Next slide. For the proposals that did not meet the minimum technical score, there were various reasons for that. Some may not have had sufficient cost information. Some may not have clearly explained what the costs were. Some may have designated technology that staff felt needed further development and would not be able to be used right away in the field to benefit the community. And then other ones just may not have been responsive to the request for proposals. Next slide. So the staff recommendation is really looking at the 2 highest scoring proposals, that of the City of Torrance and Sonoma Technologies. These proposals represented the most complete projects with greatest benefit to the community. Both contain monitoring and alert systems, which was a community priority expressed at that meeting last August. They also have because they have multiple overlapping monitoring, we did not want to implement 2 of the similar systems because we did not want to cause confusion for the community by having 2 different alert and notification systems. Next slide. So what we are proposing is to combine the best elements of the 2 proposals. For Sonoma Technology, the monitoring element. Sonoma Technology is proposing to have 3 open path fence line monitors at the refinery, 4-point monitors for community deployment, 50 low-cost PM sensors for particle counting that would be distributed within the community. They will be monitoring hydrogen cyanide, hydrogen fluoride, hydrogen sulfide, benzene ammonia, and sulfur dioxide. Both of the proposals included an element for public participation in the deployment of these monitors and the implementation of the notification system. We have contacted both the project proponents. There is a willingness to work with the staff. I do have to say, though, that the staff from the City of Torrance does need approval from their council and their city council to move forward with this. Next slide. So our recommendation that we have before you today, and would like to get the board members' consideration, the committee's consideration, and to hear from the public, is to fund Sonoma Technologies for up to $2.1 million for a program that could be up to a total of 3 years. That funding level, the majority of those funds are actually for the purchase and the deployment of the equipment, and then there's a smaller cost for the continued maintenance, QA/QC of the equipment. For the City of Torrance, it's to build on their warning system for the same 3-year period for $600,000. They have mechanisms that they're really proposing to improve on what they already have. Using their existing infrastructure is really a fine use of the funds. Because we are looking at marrying the 2 programs, in particular the interconnectivity of the monitoring system to the city system for public notification, a website so people can see measurements real time, the funding amounts may vary back and forth depending on how that interconnectivity works. It could be a few $1,000s back and forth. So, next slide. So our recommendation is to authorize the executive officer to issue the contracts, but then also authorize the executive officer to negotiate the contracts so that we can get the best use of the funds, the interconnectivity, so that we can have a system that can be deployed and really benefit the community. One last recommendation is the fund right now has earned approximately $11,000 in interest, and we're recommending that those funds be used to just help offset some of the administrative costs with implementing the program. With that, Mr. Chair, we'll be able to answer any questions.
Judy Mitchell said that she lost you at slide number 2. So could you go back and pick it up? No, I was just kidding. No, we're fine.
I can start over.
Okay, so where do we go from here, Mr. Executive Director? Is this open testimony on any item?
Only the item that's on the agenda. So if
On
there's,
So there is no pecking order as to the items that we've selected. You can come up and testify at any time on any item.
on the item that's on the agenda, which
Yes.
is,
Yeah, I
yes,
understand. That's-
yes.
Okay. Okay, John Bailey. Mr. Bailey here in the number 1 spot. Oh, before you speak, Mr. Bailey, I'd like to acknowledge the fact that Allison Tolles is here. Where are you? Hi. Representing State Senator Ben Allen, one of my daughter's favorite people in the world. So, we're always happy to have, in this era of non-genteel politics, it's so nice to have a gentleman in politics. Your boss is really a stand-up, very nice person. Okay. Back to another nice person.
Dr. Burke and members of the committee, I'm John Bailey, president of the Southeast Torrance Homeowners Association. We've been working with the AQMD staff for over 2 years and reviewing the proposals. We're proud to say that we're very pleased with the action that the AQMD staff has done. You've considered the concerns of the residents of Torrance.
I'm sorry?
You've considered the concerns of the residents of Torrance, and you have
Yes.
Yes. carefully analyzed the problems that we've endured, and you've come up with solutions that are acceptable. When we have an incident at the refinery, is it really too much for the residents to ask what exactly is happening? Why is it happening? And what's the potential risk to the residents? It's been very difficult to get those answers from our local officials. But the tide has turned, and I think with the AQMD looking at a stakeholders group down the road where residents in the community, businesses, and educational institutions can meet with Sonoma Technologies and the city, I think we're going to be able to work out our issues at the refinery. So thank you very much, each one of you, for your personal attention to this matter. We appreciate it.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. Paul, the timer didn't run. Oh, is that why you guys are conferencing over there? Takes 2 guys, push the button. That's it. Would Catherine Lays please come up? I'm going to use my iPhone.
Hi. Okay, so I'm Catherine Lays.
You might want to come to this microphone. Oh,
Oh,
that
sure.
microphone. I didn't even see a microphone over there. I can't hear or see. How's that?
So I'm Catherine Lays. I'm one of the co-founders of Families Lobbying Against Refinery Exposures. And first off, I wanted to say As community members, thank you so much to the AQMD for all your time and efforts in outreach during the proposal period back in August, and for being responsive to allowing community members to engage. I'm here today to voice my support for Sonoma Tech's proposal for air monitoring, public alerts, and education. STI is an independent science-based organization, and they have a proven track record. STI engaged with FLAIR at the start of the proposal process and ensured that concerns voiced by community members were addressed within the designed program. They're highly knowledgeable, objective, and they were accessible to the community throughout the formulation of the proposal. The proposal received personal letters of endorsement from former Assemblymember David Hadley, Assemblymember Al Marsucci, Congressman Ted Lieu, Congresswoman Maxine Waters, FLAIR, TRAA, the Environmental Priorities Network, the owners of Beach Cities Child Development Center, the president of Southeast Homeowners Division, Dr. Antoni Churg, admirals, teachers, and small business owners, along with the mayor of Hermosa Beach, Justin Massey, Hermosa Beach City Council members, the president of South Bay 350, environmental engineers, atmospheric scientists, South Bay small business owners, and more. We respect the approach of recommending the two top proposals and teams to work collaboratively on this effort, and hope that the collaboration of Sonoma Technology and the City of Torrance will result in an improved emergency alert system and communication with the residents of Torrance. I'd like to piggyback on what John said and also suggest that we form a stakeholder group to help guide the project, and I would be willing to participate in that group or recommend others that might be interested. So once again, I just wanted to voice my support for the staff's recommendations to fund the Sonoma Technology project.
Thank you very much for your testimony. How about Eddie Wall?
Dr. Berg and committee members, my name is Eddie Huang. Recently, there are many planned and unplanned flare events at the Torrance refinery. I was just wondering that does district has any plan to conduct exposure assessment and health impact from flare event? From the two recommended proposal, seems to be focused on monitoring and alert system. So I'm sure that district probably can share with us what district's current plan to address the health impact and exposure. Thank you.
Thank you. Haney, and I gotta tell you, the last name is, I have my special.
Haney Hazai or Hazi? No? Is that your E backwards? Is that what's going on there?
Hi, my name is Hanif Haji. I was a brain surgeon in training and only passed the handwriting class.
Excuse me.
I'm not going to quit my day job. I'm trying to be a comedian, so. Like I said, my name is Hanif Haji. I've been a 37-year resident of Torrance. I just want to echo what John Bailey said and Catherine Lace. No, that's okay. I just want to echo what Catherine Lays and John Bailey said, that the proposals that were submitted and what STI has done and what the City of Torrance has come up with as far as a notification system. I think if both those systems are integrated and done correctly and done in a fairly timely manner, I think the City of Torrance and the surrounding areas will be in a much better place. And my bigger concern on this is my wife and I run two preschools, one in North Redondo and one in South Redondo. The one in North Redondo is in direct line of exposures from the Torrance refinery. On a given day, we have over 150 kids ranging from 18 months to 6 years in age that are in our care. So having said that, the sooner we get the monitoring and the notification systems in place, not only will the City of Torrance, but all the surrounding areas will be in a much better place. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your testimony. Would Mr. Seth Kaufman, are you with us tonight, Mr. Kaufman? Yes, you are. Come to the vacant microphone.
Hi, my name is Seth Kaufman. I'm a long-time resident of Torrance. We live within earshot of the refinery, so we hear it grinding every night. Over the past few nights, we've heard the explosive noise, the thunder of the flaring. We know what's happening. We know that it's coming towards us. We know that we're exposed. I found it ironic that when we first sat down here today, that we were warned of what to do in sheltering in place, that our biggest concern might be an earthquake. Our biggest concern is the refinery. Our biggest concern is to chemicals on a daily basis, not a momentary, but a daily exposure. I think it's great that you guys are here. I think it's great that you're offering us a warning system. In the event of a catastrophic release, we'll be dead before we get the notice. I'm signed up with Torrance Alerts. I got an alert on Monday when the flaring started. I did not get an alert on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. I called a representative from the city. They said, and I quote, that the refinery is a necessary evil. I love the fact that you guys are putting in these proposals and trying to help us. We have an environment where we are not being assisted. Thank you. Is that it?
Yeah, that was a time, but you make a valid intellectual point. There's no arguing that. I mean, when you bring pure logic to a situation, how do you go against that? You know, I could let you talk for 2 hours, you know, and I'm stuck between, I'm trying to do the right thing here,
Yeah,
but my heart goes out to you,
yeah.
you know? I mean,
Well, you asked us a question the last time you were here, and you looked out at us, and you thought for a moment, you said, why is it that we're just hearing about this now? And I'm the one who yelled out, they lied. And you had the decency to acknowledge that we've been lied to. They've been keeping it from us.
look, the reason, people keep asking, why are you going down to this Torrance thing? You've been down there once, you don't need to go back anymore. I love this community. Ever since I came to California, Torrance represented something in the American way. It wasn't California. Torrance represented America, man. Hardworking people, go to this little town. It was nice neighborhoods, you know. You drive down there, you didn't, no crime, no problems going on. Torrance was something special. So I don't want to be the guy sitting at the head of the ship when we run into the iceberg.
Well, we're speeding up.
So I'm absolutely committed to doing everything I personally can and to helping in every possible way that I can personally to make this situation rational. But I'm not sure I understand the clear path forward. Now, what gives me some ray of hope is guys like you. Somebody's going to, you know, hey, it's easy to be angry. I mean, I'm the worst example of that. I get angry, man, I just go ballistic. I can't help myself. So, but somebody's going to figure out something and somebody's going to say, hey, man, why didn't you do this? Or why don't you do that? And it's going to make sense. Now, it might not make economic sense to everybody, but it's going to make sense to the people.
The last meeting you guys had here, you were talking about mitigation techniques, sprinklers, and water cannons. And now you're talking about alert systems. And we're all dead in the meantime. And you know what? I don't know anything about this. And I know that that doesn't make sense.
Well, I don't know if they're dead then or not, okay? So my job is to give them the best shot I can give them, okay? But in the interim, if anybody you know or anybody you think you might have heard about has the answer, I don't think there's a person on this stage who's not going to be interested in hearing it. And I know it may not be a popular answer, but at some point, you're going to have to deal with this, because I can't even begin to imagine what the headline. I almost got in a fist fight last Friday. Excuse me. And the guys, some of those guys sitting right down there were pulling me back, saying, "Oh, you can't do that. What's the headline going to look like if the headline, you're on your way to meet with a speaker and the headline reads, Chair of AQMD beats up protester." I said, to me, it would be better than the headline, Chairman of AQMD get beat up by the protester, you know. So we gotta, I'm telling you, we gotta, this is a terror. I can't imagine that cloud coming out of that place.
Daily. Every day. And you walk down Crenshaw Boulevard, you can't even breathe. If you actually walk on the street past the refinery, I walk there because I'd never walked it before. We close our windows when we drive by. I walked down Crenshaw Boulevard just to see what it was physically like. I gagged. I literally couldn't get my breath. And I just felt so bad, not only for us, but for the people that are working there.
I was just thinking when you said that, how do the people work inside? But anyway, you and I can chat later. Let's get these other people up and down. But thanks again for coming.
Thank you.
You know, because if you give up the fight's lost.
You look
I'm
pretty
here
stout.
because I'm still in the fight, man. I may be old and I may be sick right now. I ain't going to be sick long.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you, I'm going to stay in the fight.
Thank you. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Talk to you later. Dr. Ji Ying.
Again, I want to thank the entire AQMD for doing all of this too. I have a prepared statement. You guys have a copy, and I'll read some excerpts because I only have 2 minutes. The two winning proposals, I think, will help provide the Torrance community with a better knowledge of refinery risks through enhanced warning systems and monitoring of toxic chemicals, which is good. However, neither proposal addresses the fact that the February 18, 2015 explosion was a near miss to a catastrophic HF release, as noted by the CSB. Prior to the explosion, the Torrance refinery estimated the likelihood of such a catastrophe was 1 in a few lifetimes of the universe, which is 1 in 40 billion years. Even allowing 100 to 1,000 near misses before a near miss becomes a catastrophe, it makes the likelihood of a near miss something that should not have happened in 1,000,000 years, yet it happened in 60. That's why we're worried. Neither of the presently funded proposals addresses the Torrance community's concern about the risk of a catastrophic HF release, not just day-to-day little bits of stuff here. This ongoing risk has been continually highlighted by the Torrance Refinery Action Alliance, with support from many other major environmental groups, such as the Sierra Club and Earth Justice. And I put a proposal there because I found what I consider a serious flaw in a lot of the published work, where they say stuff that rains out essentially falls to the ground and becomes innocuous and ignores vapor pressure effects of the rained out material. By including the potential for rain out materials, my proposed model could give the SCAQMD better technical insight to understand the public health risks. I think I've identified a serious defect in what's in the published literature. I believe the present RFP scoring system did not give proper weight to addressing this critical HF issue, so I'm going to formally ask the AQMD reconsider my proposal for funding to address the HF issue or to issue a follow-on RFP specifically to help the SCAQMD create an independent model for catastrophic HF releases instead of relying on industry-based pronouncements as being sufficiently protective of our public health and safety. Thank you.
Stay at the microphone for just a second. You know, I don't get involved in evaluating these things because I don't have the technical expertise to do that. But I did happen to read yours. Okay?
Thank you.
And I found it kind of interesting, okay? Not kind of interesting, I found it very interesting. So I went to Wayne Nastry, who is our executive director there, and I told him, I said, you know, I think this fellow here has something. And Wayne says, well, he was on the cusp, and he said, I potentially think he has something also, okay? So I can't adjudicate all these others. These awards are going to get made. But I would like to ask you to meet with our executive director, Mr. Nastry, and see if he couldn't find a little pot of money somewhere and see if we can't fund your thing. Because I think it has real merit. I think it has real merit.
would really appreciate that opportunity. Thank you very much.
No, but that's my pleasure. You know, and everybody can come up and ask to be reevaluated. I didn't like everybody else, but and it's amazing you're here tonight because I didn't tell you, and I assume nobody else told you that I had asked about it. So.
No, I did not.
Yeah.
And that's why I said in the end that, you know, a lot of, I think, the scoring did not specifically help to pinpoint this one thing from the explosion, which is a community risk. That's why I said either maybe have a separate RFP to look at this if it's not just me or my proposal. But thank you very much again. I really appreciate
you
doing
can
that.
thank you. You're the one. If you hadn't done that, I'd have never known anything about it. Okay. Andrew DeBlock. I thought Andrew spoke already. Okay. Thank you very much, Andrew. Catherine Luciano.
Hi, I'm Catherine Luciano. I'm a 48-year resident of Torrance, and I have a couple of concerns with the Torrance Alerts warning system. I have to tell you right now, it's pretty inadequate. I get alerts sometimes hours after the incident. And then sometimes I get the all clear and I've never gotten the alert. And this is recently, and they were supposed to have improved their system. So that's a real concern to me. And then I just want to mention we're going to start a whole week of flaring starting tomorrow. That's very concerning, and they've made estimates about what's going to be dumped into our atmosphere. And if they're going to be flaring for a week, those numbers are sorely inaccurate. And lastly, about Sonoma Technology, I'm hoping that when they do this monitoring, that it will be immediately reported to the AQMD so that the AQMD can come out right away and do something about it. Our city is really, our air in our city is being used as a sewer. And I appreciate all that you've done, but I just needed to let you know about these issues. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. D-E-N-I-T?
It's Deniz. I'm Deniz Akbaşoğlu. I'm the
What's the last name?
Akbaşoğlu. I'll spare you the spelling. I'm a media officer with the...
I wish I had your last name.
That way no one could spell it. I'm a media officer with the Torrance Refinery Action Alliance. I'm here to support And second, our ally Catherine Lace and Flair's position and support of the STI proposal. I'd also like to note ban modified hydrofluoric acid. Thank you.
Thank you. Can you imagine all those people who call you every night while you're getting ready to eat your dinner? Hello, may I speak to Mr. Oh, yeah. No, you'll never get to him. Never in this life. Last person up to bat tonight is Nadia Levine. Is Nadia still here? Here comes Nadia. How you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you? So I am a slightly over 2-year resident of Torrance. We actually moved in on January 15th, 2015. So we moved within a half mile of the refinery fence line about 30 days before the explosion happened in 2015. So we thought we were leaving the middle of Los Angeles, mid-city Los Angeles, and all that smoggy, crummy air to come here. So little did we know. But I just wanted to, first of all, say thank you. Thank you for everything that AQMD has done up to date. And Mr. Chairman, you are so much more eloquent than our mayor. So I appreciate all the support that we actually get from AQMD in regards to this. I feel we just wanted to say we support Sonoma Technologies' proposal. We support the proposal to work with the city. It will give us all the information that we need. Right now, we can see the flares that have been happening all week from my son's bedroom window. If the curtains are open at night, you can see the reflection of the flares in through his room. I want to know what my kids are breathing. We moved him here for a better quality of life. Sonoma Technologies and Fence Line Monitoring will at least let us know what we got ourselves into and what we have to deal with on a daily basis. My daughter has had ongoing headaches, and we're actually taking her in for an MRI on Saturday. She's 7 years old, and we don't know what's causing it. And we would love to just at least rule out what the air that she's breathing is being part of it. So we appreciate your time, and we would really like to just say anything that we can do to get independent air monitoring, which is what we believe Sonoma Technologies would do, would be amazing. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you, very kind of you to say, but I'm just a little old guy who comes out. That's our last card. We have one more lady who would like to speak, who's been over there patiently by the door, making sure that her 1.5, how old, 2?
About 1.5, yeah.
Huh?
A year and a month, yeah.
Yeah, I got a 2-year-old granddaughter, man.
Congratulations.
About that size.
So I just wanted to quickly say that my name's Sophia, by the way, a lifelong resident and lifelong resident here at CHI. I'm also a business owner in the city of Torrance. I've had a flower shop for, I don't know, about 8 years. So my interests are in Torrance. My assets are here. I'm concerned for our city. I'm also concerned for our community because I'm looked at as sort of a conspiracy theorist when we all know that there's a great risk here. So I'd just like the community to be more informed so that they actually know what is in their air, so that they actually know, what's right over there in their backyard. Just a little bit of information so that everybody's not like, wow, you crazy kook, why are you so afraid? The refinery could blow up. It really is a risk. And also, the hydrofluoric acid goes down to the ground, so the air monitoring, I'm not sure is very effective, as others have pointed out.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Where's your husband think you are tonight?
What does my husband think of what
No, where does he think you are tonight? Does he know you're testifying here?
I just took off. I was going to go to the park with them, but I needed to do this. Yeah, I needed to be here.
You should have been so patient, standing by that door. I've been watching you all evening.
Well, this is what life is about.
You're amazing.
So are you.
You're absolutely
Thank you,
amazing.
thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you, everybody. I expected to see more people here, but hello to everybody.
I'd like to thank you for coming.
Thank you for
tonight.
having me. Thank you for letting me
No,
speak, even
thank
though I
you
didn't
for
fill out the
coming.
form. Thanks. Good night.
Well, that's it. What do we do now? Do we have to move on to this? Do we have to vote on this?
Yes.
You have a blue card in your hand. That doesn't do you any good in your hand. Unless you just want.
Any other blue cards out there?
Oh, see, that's my guy. Yes.
Check.
Dr. Burke and committee, my name is Paul Roberts. I'm from Sonoma Technology, and I'd like to say a couple things. Number one, I appreciate, and we appreciate the district's opportunity to address these concerns regarding the community impacts of the refinery in the city of Torrance. Our proposal's goals were really to use good monitoring science to address the issues of concern that the community is raising and the city is raising and the district is raising. You know, that includes real-time monitoring that can be used to support alerts for short-term upsets and incidences, to help characterize the long-term exposure in the community from the refinery, and to help identify issues and locations of releases at the refinery that might help reduce emissions, as well as providing information for the alerts. We're very excited about the recommendation of the staff. We're very willing to negotiate, work out the details of our proposal and the city's proposal in order to provide the best kind of proposal that would benefit the community of Torrance. And I think we learned a lot from listening to the community and preparing this proposal, and I think, you know, long-term having a stakeholder group that would help keep those concerns in the fore will be very valuable to the district, to us, and to the city in making this project effective. So thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. I received 2 cards, speaking cards, both which have been submitted past the time which we had supposed to take cards, but we're going to take them anyway. Figure we got 6 minutes of our lives to get these 2 people. Oh, my gosh, yeah. Matthew Johnson, where are you? Stand up. One of my favorite Board of Supervisors members. Represents Supervisor Janice Hahn, without whose father's help, my wife would have never been supervisor. He took her personally, took my wife personally, and made sure that she sat on the Board of Supervisors. This family and to the city, to the greater Los Angeles area, it's just been unbelievable. Unbelievable. Thank you for coming tonight. And do you ever see the supervisor? Because I know how staff works. So would you see her last month sometime? Or something? Okay. Tell her I said hello. Thank you. Liz Edmonds. You know, I saw you fill out the card. You look familiar. Did you testify?
I've been to a lot of these meetings.
Yeah.
So you
Okay.
may have seen me in the crowd. I'd like to first comment that what my friend over there with the baby said is absolutely correct. If you're seen supporting something like this, people look at you like you're crazy.
I can barely hear you.
How about now?
Oh, great now.
You want me
No,
here?
no,
You want me
I
here?
want you up.
I just want to say that it takes a lot to support the people who want to see things happen in the city, that want to see fence line monitoring, who want to see MHF go away. People look at you like you're crazy. People look at you like you're anti-union, anti-refinery, anti-police, anti-city. And that's really hard to do when all you care about is the people in this city. I absolutely agree. As a lifelong Torrance resident and as a mother of an asthmatic, this is important. I want to see fence line monitoring because I want to be able to make a decision. Should we leave this city? What am I doing to her health? I have migraines. What is this doing to us living here? I cannot responsibly make that decision until I know what it is we're being exposed to on a regular basis. And it would be wonderful if the city would care enough about its residents to give us timely notifications. Thank God I have AQMD notifications, because I would not have known about the flaring that's happening all next week. I have to change my daughter's schedule and decide how much time she's going to spend outside because of her asthma with regards to this flaring. I would love to see the refinery be able to operate safely and responsibly. And for me, that means not having MHF. For me, that means not having flaring all the time. And I would just love to see that happen. So I wanted to thank you for caring enough to keep coming down here and for listening to people who do care. Because we do need more people to know what it is we're dealing with. And then perhaps the attitude would change and the city would be forced to make a decision that would benefit its residents.
Trust me, I understand. Perfect example, I have 13 members on my board. These 4 people who are sitting here with me tonight, they care. Wow, it's just amazing, their sensitivities. So I know that if I have my 3 horsemen like the apocalypse, that I can ride forth and battle with them and know that something's going to happen. It may not be good for me, but I know something's going to happen.
But you know, I love that you're willing to do the right thing, because I've worked with the AQMD on the opposite side over at the Port of LA and Los Angeles and Long Beach, when the AQMD came in years ago and forced the truckers to change over to cleaner burning engines.
Right.
Personally, that cost the companies that I worked with millions of dollars. And we all grumbled and we all hated it. But you know what? Years later, we see how much better the air quality is, and the incidences of cancer and asthma have gone down. And clearly that was the right thing to do. The right thing to do is sometimes painful, and there will always be people that will fight against it.
Were you LA or Long Beach Port?
Oh, we're at both.
Yeah.
They're not that far apart.
In the LA Port, there's a veterans home right there by the port, you know? And it's funded by a charity that my work serves on the board of, so I didn't even know it was there. I'm a former veteran and somewhat active in Veterans Affairs. And so when those issues that you're talking about came up, my wife came to me and says, I want you to go down to this veterans home and see what the conditions are. Now, it was almost a knockoff of Torrance. The veterans home was very nice. Streets were paved in there, and the accoutrements in the home were very nice and modern. But the air quality there was like third world country.
Yeah, and it's amazing what can get done in those cities. Those are very low-income cities.
So.
And notice how there it was unacceptable to subject those residents to that poison. But somehow in Torrance, where you can't buy a fixer-upper anymore for less than $1 million,
Right.
it's totally okay.
Well, we're gonna keep going, so you don't
Thank
have to
you.
worry about us until we drop in the tracks, which we all will do at
So
some
I will
point.
pray for
But-
your continued good health.
Thank you.
Definitely.
But we're gonna keep coming, and if you're here, I'm here, so you don't have to worry about
I'll send you an email if I decide to move.
it. Amen. That's good.
Thank you.
Katie Bad, I don't know if I want to talk to you or not.
I knew you'd like my last name.
Okay.
I'll make it quick. Thank you for being here tonight. My name is Katie Bad. I am a licensed civil engineer. I'm a resident of Torrance, and I'm here to express my strong support for the funding of Sonoma Technologies' proposal. I read through their submission and was impressed by the multiple compounds it will monitor: hydrogen cyanide, hydrogen fluoride, hydrogen sulfide, sulfur dioxide, and benzene, to name a few, as well as the PM monitoring technology and real-time transfer of data, which is so important to the community. I was particularly pleased to see that they already have experience with this through design, operation, and design and data quality assurance of the EPA's Air Now website. On that website, you can easily see quality of air by color-coded maps. It has a good education tool to explain to the average community member the health effects of airborne particulate matter. The education tool has resources for teachers, parents, and even children to learn what the air quality index is and how to make the right decisions for yourself and your family when the air quality index is high. Sonoma Technologies' proposal is well-rounded, detailed, and especially suited for this city. For the past 2.5 years, the community has not only been asking for monitoring, but as many people have said, for independent third-party analysis and real-time data available to us and to you. I'm confident that Sonoma Technologies can perform the air monitoring task at hand, and I urge you to fund the proposal as soon as possible so that monitoring by a third party can begin. Awarding these funds to STI will increase safety and help provide transparency for the community. Thank you again.
Thank you so much for your testimony. Now, Mr. Chief Counsel, you told me that we have to vote on this?
That's correct.
Okay, then I will accept a motion on the movement of the agenda.
I'd like to move the staff recommendation on action item number 1.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Nancy, will you call the roll?
Aye.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Passes unanimously. Okay, I'd like to thank everybody for coming. Ben Benoit told me I didn't check for public comment, so don't adjourn the meeting.
No public comment.
Is there anyone who
Special
would
meeting.
like to speak in public comment?
On items not on the agenda?
No, it's a special meeting, Dr. Burks, so.
Thank you so much for coming. And we're going to keep coming as long as you keep coming. Good night.